Hey folks, welcome back to Modern Day Money. I'm Carlo, and in this video we're going to talk about why it appears to be so difficult to achieve FIRE. The first reason that it is so hard is because you still haven't hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Okay, but seriously now. Reaching financial independence and retiring early can be difficult for a number of reasons. Firstly, it's hard to accomplish something that you aren't even aware of and aren't actively working towards. Most people don't even know about FIRE, let alone know what to do to achieve it. It would be like having a school assignment, following all the directions, getting everything right, and receiving 100%. However, if you did some extra work, you could get 150%. But no one ever told you about this extra work. It was neither obvious nor mentioned anywhere, so how could you possibly have been expected to do it? It's a bit of a crude analogy, but I think you get the gist of it. The standard route of working 9 to 5 till you're 65 is basically what everyone knows and everyone follows. Put your money in a 401k, save, retire at 65, get a gold watch, and move to Florida to play golf. That's the path and the assignment of modern life that we have sort of blindly been following for decades. This is great for past generations. They didn't enter their adult lives with student debt, they could buy a house pretty easily, and support their whole family on one salary. Work was pretty much guaranteed, and compared to their parents' generation, retiring comfortably at 65 is a walk in the park. For millennials and Gen Xers, it's a different story. Student debt immediately bogs us down, housing costs have skyrocketed compared to wages, and financial literacy has not kept up with the times. Once you're out of school, most people stop learning, at least in a formal sense, but sometimes altogether. If you've had any financial education at all, you're way ahead of the curve. But that's not saying much, seeing as the vast majority of Americans have absolutely no financial education, formal or otherwise. In fact, financial literacy is all but non-existent for most adults. Money and finances have been made to be taboo subjects, so how could you possibly learn more about it if you never discuss it with anyone? If people don't know that they can invest more money or max out their 401k beyond what their employer matches, how could they? Chances are your parents don't have a grasp on modern finances either, so for all the wisdom they may have given you in life, handling money may not have been among them. The idea of retiring early and becoming financially independent is almost fictional. Being rich is something you see on TV, be it actors, athletes, or tech company founders. But perhaps you know someone that started their own business and did pretty well with it. That's typically as close as most people get to knowing about FIRE. The second reason why FIRE is so difficult to achieve, and possibly even more influential than the first, is the constant pressure of consumerism. Keeping up with the Joneses is more prominent now than it has ever been. With the ready availability of financing absolutely everything you can buy, people no longer look at the cost of anything on a whole basis, but just in terms of monthly payment. What they don't do is add up all of their monthly payments. Social media has also become very problematic. Keeping up with the Joneses used to just be limited to your neighborhood and maybe your immediate contacts, but now it's expanded to every human on earth that posts on Instagram. People you've never met are influencing your financial decisions more than you even realize. Keeping up with the Joneses is also very prominent in social circles and within peer pressure. Morning coffee, lunch, happy hours, brunches, bars, clubs. While these are typical indulgences of a young adult, these tend to add up to enormous costs, especially when they change from the occasional indulgence to routine expenses. And then there's Amazon making it just a little bit too easy to order little things on a whim that you may or may not need. You get bombarded with commercials every year for a new phone or a new car, which you don't need. But when your neighbor has a new iPhone, you gotta have it too. Even if you've managed to get rid of cable TV, you still see advertisements all over the internet, including your social media apps that are more relevant to you than ever. They know exactly what you like, and it is all too easy to tap that order button on your phone and have some shiny new thing on the way to your home that you never needed in the first place. So between not knowing anything about finances and constantly being pressured into buying new things, it's no wonder that over 50% of Americans 40 and older have less than $100,000 saved for retirement. Another reason is simply the ever-increasing cost of living, cost of healthcare, and cost of education. 60% of student debt borrowers don't expect to pay off their student loans until they're in their 40s. It definitely becomes hard to save money when you're constantly in some sort of debt. Most young adults have to go through college and rack up student debt just because college degrees are now the new norm. Regardless if the degree teaches you anything related to your future job, it's almost impossible to get any sort of corporate/office job without one. Now, sure, there are plenty of careers that don't require college degrees, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to look at the sort of typical path of modern life. Even with non-corporate and office jobs, the path of working for a single employer and having a 401k retirement account is by far the most common. The average amount of student debt coming out of college is $25,921, meaning most people's net worth starts off in the negative column and stays there for years. It's a pretty bleak outlook when you need to work for years just to get back to zero. Now, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I wouldn't fault you for thinking that this is all by design. By keeping the population willfully ignorant on financial matters, banks can keep earning money on your credit card interest, retailers and manufacturers can continue selling you stuff you don't need but convince you that you do. Once you retire, you're no longer a cog in the wheel, but society needs a lot of cogs to keep churning along. Thankfully, there is a way out, and for all the speed bumps that I've laid out so far, it's not quite as difficult as it may seem. Achieving FIRE just requires some effort on your part, which we go into detail in other videos. You do have a say in the matter. The big bad corporate machine doesn't have ultimate control over you. You can access all necessary resources for free and take that step towards achieving your own version of FIRE. Just the fact that you're watching this video means you are already on the right path forward. Having an open mind about finance and budgeting will take you far. Educate yourself, create a plan, and stick with it. So if you want to learn more about FIRE, be sure to subscribe as there will be new videos every week. There are also resources linked in the description down below to help you get started. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to like and subscribe button for plenty more videos to come. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and I'll get to them as best I can. And until next time, see ya.